Check out the koozie, groomsman gift.
Yeah. All right. Welcome to another episode of Gary Williams Stole My Lawn Furniture. It is
Welcome.
5/7/24. We're going to talk about some Orioles to start the day off. Dusty, you want to fire away?
Yeah, good week last week. 3 out of 4 against the Yankees. 3-0 sweep of the Cincinnati Reds. The pitching staff looks like incredible. Looks great. Last 4 starts, Kramer went 6 innings of 1 hit ball, no runs. Means went 7 innings, 3 hit ball, no runs. Cole Irvin, 6 and a third, 2 hits, no runs. And then going back to Kyle Bradish in the Yankee series, 4 2/3 in his return, 5 strikeouts, gave up 1 run. But yeah, what have you guys seen last week specifically from the pitching staff?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. In all honesty, I mean, everything I saw from the team, what we talked about last week when we were saying they weren't gelling well, complete opposite of this week. And then Bradish looked great. I did not expect that from John Means. That was really encouraging to see. And then it looks like Suarez is going to be a decent bullpen guy.
Yeah,
man. You would have thought that the sky was falling after that A's series the last time we talked, and now took 3 out of 4 from the Yanks, swept Cincinnati, 0 runs from all of our starting pitchers in that Cincinnati series. I mean, it's a hell of a turnaround right there, pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I know, Brooksy, you're pretty high on Kimbrel, or I'm not going to say high, but you're in the Kimbrel camp. I'm out. I'm just out. Either it's a back issue, or he can't pitch anymore, and he's definitely past his prime. We know that. I'm not dogging him for that, but I'm out of that camp.
I mean, I don't know. As far as Kimbrel goes, I think we just kind of know what he is. He's going to be inconsistent, but he's just that Band-Aid. We've talked about it week in and week out. You're going to be out on him this week. You're probably going to be back in on him when he saves 3 games in a row in a couple weeks. I think that's just kind of the player he is at this point. But, I mean, the fact that we're getting these pitching performances out of the guys that we weren't expecting to get these pitching performances out of, like those 4 guys that I named, I didn't even name Grayson Rodriguez or Corbin Burns. I think this is as deep as a rotation as I can remember in my lifetime the Orioles having. I think if you go back to 97 when we had Key and Messina and Scott Erickson, but I mean before all the great rotations of the Orioles past were before my time, so it's nice having this versatility in all these starters. And I mean, if they're all going to keep pitching this well, I would like to keep a 6-man rotation going. Do you guys have problems with that? What do you think about that?
I've never even thought about that. I mean, has that ever happened?
I mean, teams that struggle, I think, would most often do it. But yeah.
Yeah, as long as we keep Corbin Burns on the same, I think that's what they said. As long as we keep him on the same rotation in between starts, and we're not messing with him, I'm cool with it. It's hard to take anybody out. Like you said, it's hard to take anybody out right now. Irvin is just, I mean, he's just like kicking and screaming. Like he can't do any wrong right now. He just keeps throwing out perfect start after perfect start. So, I mean, how can you move him? I mean, the guy's earned it at this point.
Obviously, I want to win a World Series. I also don't want to piss off Corbin Burns, and I want to bring him back. I mean, he's such talent. And I think going to a 6-man rotation would piss him off because he's going to get less exposure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, right now we don't have to worry about it because Grayson's still on the IL. So those are the decisions are going to have to be made a little bit down the road. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like all 5 of these guys have been pitching incredibly well. I mean, Bradish and Means obviously just coming back from injuries, but Means has looked great in his last 2 starts between AAA and now the bigs. Bradish has been looking great in the minors. 4 2/3 1-run baseball, and when he's on a pitch count, I mean, I'll take that for a return start for sure. Yeah. And his stuff looked sharp. He looked like he was throwing hard. He looked like his breaking stuff was moving the way like we're used to seeing it move that the way we saw it last year when he pitched so well. So I don't know. They're going to have to make some decisions. I mean, Kramer especially. I mean, all of these guys have been pitching well, but Kramer the last 3 starts have been really impressive to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to piss off Burns. Just, I mean, like I said, as long as we keep him on the same schedule, like you're starting every 5th day or whatever, no matter what, I don't think he's going to care, and especially if those other guys are performing. But I mean, realistically, how long can Irvin sustain this? Hopefully for a while, but I mean, I think we just ride him right now. I mean, 3 starts in a row with 0. I don't think he gave up a run in 3 straight starts, or maybe 1.
No, he hasn't. Yeah.
So, I think it's a means to an end. It's not going to be the entirety of the rest of the year on a 6-man rotation, but I think we ride it right now. I mean, especially with guys getting injured. Well, not injured, but resting Tyler Wells and resting Grayson and stuff like that. I mean, it's a good problem to have at this point, I guess. Unless, for example, like I guess if the bullpen starts getting taxed again and you got to move Irvin out there for a week or something like that, who knows? I mean, it's nice to have the flexibility right now, though.
Yeah,
I find myself like pinching. I'm trying to think like how to word this exactly, but I find myself thinking like we're bitching about having too much talent and having too much stuff. Imagine with the 2016 Orioles. I mean, Jesus Christ, that team was so sparse and scarce. That was a AAA ball club we were putting out there, and now we have too much major league talent.
Yeah.
So we all need to shut up, when we go about bitching about things.
Yeah, and I mean, I love Orioles fans that are so cynical and negative right now are just going to be cynical and negative forever. I mean, it's just. How are you going to make that person happy at this point? Because I mean, we've been in the top 3 best teams in the league for 2 years now, and and they're still finding stuff to bitch about. I'm like, we're not like every game's not going to be perfect, guys. Like it's unreal. But I mean, to be honest with you, the Cincinnati series, for pitching wise, besides like Bauman still trying to figure some shit out, that's why they threw him in there. And in that game, starting pitching was great. All the other pitching was relatively good. The bats were a little cold into the last game, and honestly, the last 3 innings of the last game, 3 or 4 innings of the last game. But Cincinnati has a decent little pitching staff, to be honest with you. And Tony Taters, Anthony Potatoes just came out of his slump. So hopefully he can get back on track here after a couple of weeks. He's been slumping a little bit. So, I mean, that's a nice part, because a part of the lineup at the beginning of the season wasn't hitting well, and everyone was up in arms about that. But the other part of the lineup picked him up, and now it's kind of like the other way around on some of the guys. So it's nice to have people be able to pick each other up in this lineup and not have like Santander go down, I mean, into a huge slump, and it just ruins 2 weeks for us.
Yeah.
Why do I always go back to Seinfeld when we talk about how people are bitching? And it's George Costanza. We did win the World Series last year. Yeah, in 6 games.
Like, how do we just get so fucking arrogant and entitled with some of this stuff? I mean, we've been good for 1.5 years to 2 years, and now everyone thinks we should go 162-0 and never give up a run.
We were the armpit of the league for almost 15 years.
We have the second best winning percentage in baseball. We have the best winning percentage in the American League. Just pinch yourself and thank yourself thank God every day that this is happening right now and that we get to enjoy this, and stop bitching, because this is fun. We're going to continue to talk about. I mean, we're going to have to talk about some guys who are struggling here and there, and that stuff's going to happen. It's the ebbs and flows of a baseball season. It's a long season.
For example, like, everybody sees it right now. Bauman's struggling a little bit. Like I said, that's why he's going out there in an 11-1 game, and everyone's like, why don't we just let Suarez finish the game there and save the bullpen? Well, the bullpen's actually getting a little bit more rested now. And that would be the time to let Bauman start to work on some of the shit that he's trying to work on.
I don't
And
want guys.
people are wanting to DFA this guy right now. His stuff is electric. I mean, he's had a rough 2 weeks here probably, but I mean, you can go back to certain points of the season and look at stuff, and it's like he's got elite stuff. It's just he's mechanically or whatever it's good, whatever it is that he's working on, or whether it's mental or whatever. Hopefully, he can work through it, because that is not a guy I want to DFA. I mean, he's got an electric fastball, electric curveball, and cutter. So last year he was great. He was 10-1 last year.
I just don't like guys working shit out in the major league level. I mean, hey, you mysteriously have a hamstring injury, you go on the IL, and then you go down to Florida and you work on stuff. Yeah, it stinks. It stinks because he does have good stuff. Yeah, but when he comes in the game, I get nervous.
At the moment, right for
now,
sure.
Yeah.
Now they brought him in an 11-1 game, so I mean, obviously there's room for error. So yeah, you can work on stuff, but if you got to rely on him to come in a 3-2 game, I'm pinching my cheeks.
And that's the versatility of having all these starters, that we're going to be able to move some of these guys around into the bullpen, so we won't have to worry so much about Mike Bauman getting in there in a 3-2 game when he's trying to work shit out. Maybe he can work this shit out, and then later in the season we could put him in that 3-2 game, and we'll feel a lot more confident in him.
Yeah.
We do need Colton Cowser to pick it back up. We don't need it. We'd like it. Obviously, like Brooks said, the rest of the lineup's been picking him up. But last 15 games, 40 at bats, 19 of those resulted in strikeouts. He's hitting at 125 average after his ridiculous April. Just completely killed it for the first 3-4 weeks of the season, and then just slowed down. But he's a kid. This is his rookie year. This is going to happen. He's obviously pitchers are making adjustments, and then he's going to have to make adjustments too. And there's no right answer. There's no one way in baseball. It's always going to be constantly changing and constantly evolving and constantly trying to outthink your opponent and outwork your opponent. Brian,
this is the league catching up. I mean, this is exactly what happens. It's the ebbs and flows of a rookie season. I mean, there's very few people who have not gone through this. Like Mike Trout never went through this. No one could ever catch up to him. But I mean, he'll adjust. And I'm sure they have plenty of analytics and data and all the video they watch. They're going to figure it out.
Yeah, they'll be fine. And another interesting topic with Colton Cowser is that Hayes is on his way back right now. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen there. What do you guys think is going to happen? Any predictions, or what would you like to see happen?
No predictions.
I think you're going to see.
Yeah, go ahead, Dusty.
I think you're going to see just a lot of rotation between 2 out of the 3 guys in the outfield, Santander, Cowser, and Hayes. You're going to see them rotate a lot based on the pitching matchup. I would bet against lefties, it's going to be Hayes and Santander, and against righties, it's going to be Cowser and Santander. That's how they play. That's how Hyde coaches. He just plays all these matchups. So I would imagine that means Cowser's probably going to start getting less at bats against left-handed pitching. But I mean, it's going to move. It's going to be so much movement. Mullins has been struggling a little bit too. So I mean, Hayes and Cowser could flip flop in the outfield.
Just mean Kerstad's going down. Kerstad going down.
Kerstad, McKenna, Urias, one of those guys. I mean, I don't think I prefer McKenna to go down, but McKenna's been good. McKenna's been great so far.
Well, I think you're right. I think McKenna will go down because basically you're trading a better version of McKenna with Hayes coming back, and well, obviously he's going to be better with if his bat comes back around. So that's going to be now that I'm thinking through it a little bit, that's definitely what it's going to be because they're just replacing right there.
Yeah, but the problem is he has to clear waivers every time we send him because he's out of options, right?
That's true. Yeah.
So if they
that is true, but I mean,
he's hot right now. Then they can send Kierstad down. He's got plenty of options left, I would imagine.
If you're the Cincinnati Reds, I'd pick up McKenna in a heartbeat.
He just torched him, yeah.
It's solid, yeah.
Now, a question for the group: with all the talent we have, do you think frustration sets in for some of these guys who are constantly going to be getting rotated? Because you look, at the end of the day, it's their career, it's their job, and so they want exposure. And do you think frustration might set in?
I mean, I think it's inevitable for sure. I'm sure Ramon Urias is not happy about the fact that he's hitting 150 and he's not getting at bats, and he's getting at bats every 4 days. This is a guy who won a Gold Glove and was a great piece of our offense for the last 2 years. So I'm sure he's frustrated. But I mean, I don't really know what the answer is. There's just too many guys to try to keep happy, and this is a good problem to have, like we've said so many times. But it's like, I mean, I don't think there's any way around it. What do you think, Brooks?
At this point, I'm getting pretty close to saying Urias is probably going to get DFA'd here soon if he's not going to be put into a trade package. Just because I don't think there's any way around it at this point. Not to say that I would love to do it, or do I really want to do it? But I mean, it's just we kind of don't have an option here coming up. Especially once Jackson figures it out down in AAA, or if they decide to bring up Mayo or whatever route they decide to go. Even though Jackson's kind of been struggling down in AAA, but that's for another time. It's gonna happen here soon.
I think we're going to be heavy-handed at the trade deadline, and I don't know what. I mean, we're going to look at bullpen guys. We might look at another starting pitcher. I think we're going to be heavy-handed, and some of these guys are going to get dealt because there's just too much talent.
Yeah, I mean, Urias, if he makes it through the first part of the season, I hope he does. But especially with, like you said, Brooks, Jackson Holiday, and even Kobe Mayo, has over 1,000 OPS, has 11 home runs already in AAA. It's just absolutely mashing. I don't know how you can keep these guys down there. It's just
and Norby. I mean, Norby's doing well.
Yeah, and Norby. I mean, it sucks for Norby. We were saying this about Ortiz last year. He's like the odd man out, but it feels like Norby's going into that Ortiz role where it's just like, when is he going to get at bats? And if you guys remember, a guy named Taran Vavra just started his rehab assignment too. He was on our team as a prospect the last couple of years, and he got some action in second base and right field last year. So we just got too many guys.
I mean, and you see what, and you probably, I mean, if you watched any of the games or listened to any commentating, like you see what Nevin has done since he's left, since we had to let him go. I mean, he's batting over 300. He's killing it right now.
I didn't know that. That's awesome. Is he still with the A's?
Billy Beane, man. Billy Beane turning a quadruple A player into an MLB player.
Yeah.
Somebody got like a mad upstairs neighbor or something?
Nope, that's me.
Let's hear that.
Yeah, not me.
That's me tapping. I'll stop.
You're good. Grayson Rodriguez started a throwing program. Good news so far. I think they were being cautious. The fact that he's throwing already tells me that they weren't super worried about this injury. They just wanted this is kind of a precautionary thing, which is good news for me, because I think if there was anything there when they checked, when they did our MRIs and they checked the information and stuff, I think if they saw anything that they really were worried about, I don't think they would have had him throwing yet.
Yeah, I think he's out to 90 feet, and I think he's throwing flat grounds already. So
yeah,
might even be out to 120 now.
He'll be back sooner than later. And then, when we get him back, we're going to have to figure out the pitching stuff that we were talking about earlier. But once again, good problem to have.
Yep.
Upcoming schedule, we got 2 games in D.C. against the Nats. Corbin Burns is starting tonight, and Kyle Bradish is starting tomorrow. And then we have a 3-game home set for Arizona. I think we have actually 9 games at home coming up after this, the 2 games in D.C.
I'm going to bring it up again. I mean, I haven't looked at our schedule, but it seems like we had an inordinate amount of home games. And I feel like we're just going to be on the road all of July. Yeah, I don't know what the schedule's like, but it just feels odd.
Yeah, I mean, I can look at the schedule now. It's possible that we've had a higher breakdown of home games.
So we got Burnsy going tonight, right?
Correct. Yeah, Burns tonight.
Yeah, I mean, and the Nats, Dustin, you know this better than I can. Are the Nats doing any damages here? Or are they terrible?
No, they've actually been pretty decent this year. CJ Abrams, who was like the biggest piece to come back to them in the Juan Soto trade, he's a young shortstop. He's been really good. He's lighting up the league right now. And then Mackenzie Gore, who is a left-handed pitcher they got also out of that Juan Soto trade, has been really good for them. So yeah, they've been doing. I mean, they're 17-17, so they're playing 500 ball. But based on the way the Nationals have played the last 2 years, I think that's a win for them. I think they're playing pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely somewhere we could definitely get got down there. So that's
sure.
Hopefully. I mean, hopefully there's a lot of Orioles fans going down there. I would assume there is.
I would assume
I would imagine there is. Yeah. What do the players do? They don't stay They would stay at home, right? I would imagine, right?
Yeah, Delaware and I were talking about this yesterday. They bust down. We actually inquired about it. Yeah, they bust down. So they want people to stay at their house, and then they also there's no training facility down there for them to do anything, so they can still do stuff at Camden Yards before they go down. Got to get long tall swings.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's like a high school team. You're going to the stadium a couple hours before, whatever.
Yeah,
that's good for them.
It's funny you bring it up because I asked the same question 2 days ago. We actually asked somebody about it. They stay here.
Yeah.
So I've been seeing a lot of pictures of a lot of the Orioles out in Canton, actually. And everything everyone's saying is that how nice and down to earth that they are. It seems like they're really embracing the city out there. It seems like a lot of them live in Canton.
Yeah. So a lot of them live, for those of you guys that are watching this, or if you watch this, we live in Canton, Baltimore, but a subsection called Canton. There are a bunch of luxury apartment complexes. And one of our friends was in charge of setting athletes and actresses and actors up, celebrities up in these apartment complexes. So a bunch of the Orioles live in some of these high-rise apartment complexes right down here. And I know Adley, Austin Hayes, I think Colton lives over here. Freddie Gonzalez, who's our bench coach. They go out on the town and they're having a good time. Hell, they went to a Dundalk, Texas Roadhouse and were having beers.
That's awesome.
So a lot of them are around here and they're out and about and they're having a good time and they seem to be just awesome human beings.
Yeah, I saw McCann. McCann lives over there too, apparently. I think Corbin Burns might, but no, people aren't really sure. I know Kramer does.
Yeah. A couple of them live in another subsection called Refinery Row, which is down on Haven Street. And these are leased out houses. They're large 3-story houses, and a couple of the guys live there.
I think that's where I think Adley lives in a townhouse now. I think he's out of the apartment now, from what I was told.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Who knows?
I remember the Adley story. The Adley story that my friend Dana told us was unbelievable. When she goes, every single time he has a household issue, he calls whatever service she worked for and set these people up. One time, he didn't know how to fix his garbage disposal because a spoon got stuck down there. And she said, when your star athlete has that kind of problem, instead of brandishing a weapon or gambling, that's a good star athlete.
Yeah. I like that. You guys want to talk about some around the league stuff?
Yeah, fire away, bub.
Yeah. I want to talk about Alek Manoah. He's going to be my That's a Shame for the week.
He stinks.
Alek Manoah in 2021 was 8th in the Rookie of the Year voting after only starting 20 games. He was 9-2 with a 3.2 ERA. In 2022, he was an All-Star, was 3rd in the Cy Young voting for the season, 31 starts, 16-7, 2.2 ERA. 2.2 ERA. Last year, 3-9, 5.8 ERA. Couldn't stay up in the majors. Got sent down a couple times, and this year he came back. And in his first start, he had a line of 4 innings pitched, 7 runs given up, 6 earned, 6 strikeouts, 6 hits, and 4 walks. This guy's 26 years old. What in the hell happened to him?
Is this the league adjustment to him? Kind of like what we talked about with Colton Cowser. Is this the league adjustment to him? And he just can't adjust back.
Man. I don't know, man. 2 seasons is a long enough sample size where you'd think like this guy's stuff is good, you know?
And his stuff hasn't changed. He's still throwing the same velo. So
it's crazy. What? It's so weird. I mean, we say this all the time. It's probably hyperbole, but I feel like I haven't seen anything like this in a long time. This guy just completely fizzled out. He was 25 years old.
You think
I would say when he came back last year, his stuff to me did not look great, and I haven't seen him pitch at all this year.
Well,
and sorry to say this, I know Mays is a buddy of his, friend of the program, but he stinks. Like he's not gonna be in the league here soon. Well,
he's getting shelled every time he goes out. He's getting shelled.
I mean, I shouldn't say that. Somebody's going to take a flyer on him whenever he gets DFA'd or sent down or whatever. But his stuff did not look good last year when I was watching him, and it could have been the games that I was watching, and I have not seen any this year. But I mean, the numbers are speaking for themselves right now. I mean, those numbers are like batting practice.
He's a Baldo Jimenez reincarnated.
Well, yeah, Ubaldo when he lost 8 miles an hour.
Well, yeah,
but Ubaldo at least had a decent MLB career, a decently long MLB career. I don't know what's going on with Manoah. Obviously, super talented dude, but I just think this is so weird, and I wanted to talk about it a little bit. A couple more things around the American League. The Twins had a 12-game win streak that just ended. They lost to the Red Sox the other day. They are still tied for second place in the AL Central, which I can't believe. The AL Central was kind of a joke last year. Everyone kind of expected that the AL Central was going to be kind of a joke this year. They got 4 teams above 500 in that division with the Tigers, the Royals, the Guardians, and the Twins, and the Chicago White Sox, who are just the laughing stock of Major League Baseball right now.
You remember when we were doing our predictions and we laughed about how shitty the AL Central was going to be?
Yeah, well, I didn't know Bobby Witt was going to be freaking Mike Trout at shortstop.
I know. Well, that was the only one we got because we were both like, okay, well, I think we were all between the Twins and Cleveland. I think we were all like, okay, they're going to fight. They're going to fight over first place, which they are right now because Cleveland is probably the 3rd or 4th best team in the league right now. They're playing pretty damn good.
Yeah, they have the same record as us, I believe.
Oh, do they? I knew they were close. They were hanging right around. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, all things considered, that division looks pretty damn good. I did not expect this out of the Royals. Like we said before in one of these podcasts, we'll see if they keep it up. Reminding us like the Orioles of last year. But yeah, the fighting Gavin Sheets are probably going to set a pretty bad record here soon.
God, so bad. They're so bad. Did you see Dylan Cease came out? He did an interview and he said his last year with the White Sox was just totally miserable. He was like the locker room. Everyone hated each other. He was like the locker room sucked. He didn't know if he was going to get traded the whole year. He must have been the most miserable dude on the planet last year.
Other than Tony La Russa
for 6 straight months. Tony La Russa. Wow.
Is he still there?
No. He's gone.
Like he's not in the front office or anything.
I don't believe so. No.
I don't think he's in a consultant role at all. I think he's completely out of the game.
As far as I know, he's done. And if he's not, he needs to be tomorrow.
Yeah, I was gonna say like that'd be ridiculous if he was still there.
I mean, how are the Astros bad?
That's a shocking thing. The Astros 12-22 to start the year. They're terrible.
What the hell?
I don't know.
They look bad.
No. Nothing smart here. What the hell? Like, what the hell is going on? Like, you guys have so much talent, and what the hell? I just figure it out. I mean, you guys are so good. I'm getting higher register here in my voice.
So bizarre.
No, yeah. I mean, it's not that different of a team. I mean, they don't, obviously
It actually should
don't-
be better. They signed Josh Hader. He's the best closer in baseball.
Yeah, I mean, and they
Should
don't
be
have
better.
Verlander, obviously. But I mean,
He just came back. He just made a.
so he made his first start finally.
Yeah,
I was going
correct.
to say they have him
2
coming
degrees.
back, or they haven't had him this season up until I guess he made his first start. But yeah, I mean, this team's not that different. Like you said, they should be, all things considered. So
Exactly.
I mean, and they have
They should be
and
exactly.
they have
where
one of the
were.
best.
Yeah.
They have one of the best hitters in the game on their team. So
Yeah, this is one of those things that I would imagine is going to even out as the season goes. I would imagine that I haven't looked at the stats, but there's too much talent on this team. I would think that they're just getting unlucky, or they're just having a bad stretch, and that they're going to turn it around. But yeah, they look like shit. 12-22. I mean, that's a legitimate sample size. It's almost like a fifth of the season gone.
Yeah, you're almost a quarter of the season, and you kind of know what you are at this point. And I don't know.
this is what Brian said that you're playing. They may have played themselves out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll see.
you can lose your way out of the playoffs early. You cannot win your way into the playoffs early.
Yep.
And they're doing it, and they're doing a really fucking good job of it.
Yeah. And for those of you who are unaware, the Astros have made 7 straight ALCS appearances. That's insane. I don't know if that's ever happened in the history of baseball. I haven't looked it up, but that's insane. In those 7, they've won 4, which they've made 4 World Series appearances and won 2 World Series. So this is one of the most dominant runs that I can remember in baseball in the last 20 years. And it's in jeopardy right now. They need to turn it around. Still early in the season. They still have time,
Yeah.
but yeah. Trey Turner out at least 6 weeks with a hamstring injury. I can't imagine that this is good news. 6 weeks for a hamstring strain seems like a lot. He must be like a very severe strain. But the Phillies have the best record in baseball, and he's one of the better players on their team, making $300 million over the next 10 years or something like that.
6 weeks for a hamstring strain doesn't make any sense. He must have pulled that thing off the bone. You know, it's
Must be pretty severe. Or they're being extra cautious, which they have the luxury to do because they have the best record in baseball. So yeah, I mean, we'll see how that goes. Obviously, we're wishing the best for all the league superstars. We don't want any of these guys to be hurt. We want to grow the game, not diminish the game. So root for
He's one of my
speedy
favorite
recovery
players
for
to
Trey
watch.
Turner.
one
Yeah.
of my favorite
He's
players to
electric.
watch. He is so good and just
Yeah.
he brings everything to the game. He's everything I want to see in a baseball player. Fast, hits, fields, does everything exactly the way it should be done.
Yep.
And he was really fun, especially to watch in the World Baseball Classic last year. He was electric in that. Hit a go-ahead grand slam. That was amazing. Padres trade for Luis Arias, who goes 4 for 6 in his team debut. First Padre to ever have 4 hits in his team debut. Luis Arias, if you're not familiar, has won the batting title in the American League and the National League in consecutive seasons. Only one other player besides Arias has ever won the batting title in the American League and the National League since 1900. Who is that player? Trivia time.
Frank.
Nope.
Paul Molitor?
I'm going to give you guys a hint because you guys are going to be going way too far back. This has happened recently. Like in the last 5 years.
What? I got nothing.
I'll let you mull it over for a little bit, but yeah. Only 2 players since 1900 have won the batting title in both the American League and the National League, and Luis Arias did it in consecutive seasons. Padres get a new DH, second baseman, first baseman, wherever you want to play him. He's not great in the field, but dude hit almost 350 last year, so he obviously knows how to get on base.
Mookie.
Not Mookie, no.
Ooh, that was a good call. Darn.
Mookie almost became one of the few guys who have won an MVP in both the American and National League last year, but he came in second because Acuna was crazy. But yeah, we'll move on, and I'll give you guys time to think about that.
Yeah, and we're about to move off baseball, but I know we don't have basketball in the rundown, but I want to do my That's a Shame for the week.
Okay.
Every single GM and commentator who made fun of Jalen Brunson when he came out of Villanova, and now he is just lighting up the playoffs for the Knicks. They can all suck it because they were all wrong. Now they're all, oh, he was great. Screw yourself. You were wrong. We talked shit about him, and now he's doing 40-point games every single night. So
4 straight.
So that's a shame to the media. That's a shame to the media for knocking Jalen Brunson because he is sticking it.
That's a shame for Mark Cuban for letting him walk a couple of off seasons ago for nothing. What are they doing? They didn't even offer him. It was so stupid. That's a shame. Yeah, we're gonna move on to Jalen Brunson's been killing it. The NBA playoffs have actually been really great. I've been watching a lot of it. It's been really fun to watch. A lot of really close games. I can't believe the Nuggets got completely destroyed last night by Minnesota. They're 0-2 in the series and looking like their season might be coming to a close a little bit earlier than a lot of people expected.
I think the team will see. The team was up and cracked a code on the Nuggets. I forget his name. Reed, I think he was a sixth man of the year. He just won the sixth man of the year. Yeah, he's really done a number on Jokic, and it's something we haven't seen because he's been, the Joker's been ridiculous for the last few years. And this guy Reed is just locked him down, and by lock him down, I mean keeps him to 20 points instead of 35.
Yeah, I mean Jokic has won 3 MVPs in the last 4 years. You know how many people have done that? Not many. Not many. We're going to move on to football pretty briefly. Not much football news this week. Big news in the Ravens circle, though. Odell Beckham. We knew he wasn't coming back to the Ravens, but he signed with the Dolphins. 1 year, $3 million base salary worth up to $8.25 million with incentives. You guys think this is just kind of like taking a flyer if you're the Dolphins, or do you think this is going to make a legitimate impact on their offense?
What is it? It's a flyer. I mean, what does it hurt? Man.
Yeah, there's just a ton of upside there because, I mean, theoretically, he should be able to eat with Tyreek pulling everybody off of him. So we'll see.
And
he's the third best receiver on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember who said it in one of my group chats, but he runs a great slant route. So if you got Tyreek and Waddle on the outside and you got Odell running the slant inside, that could be dangerous. I can see him taking a couple of those to the house.
The Miami Dolphins are
for us a couple years ago.
They're a track team. The Miami Dolphins are a track team. It's the easiest way to put it. They're a track team that plays football.
He'll fit in there too. I don't think he's going to play anywhere for the rest of his career that's not warm either.
Yeah, he's going to be picking and choosing his spots, I'm sure. Tyler Boyd signed with the Titans this morning on a 1-year deal. DJ Chark signed with the Chargers. Michael Gallup signed with the Raiders. The Jags cut Zay Jones. These are a bunch of fringe moves. Tyler Boyd has been pretty good for the Bengals. He's been good against the Ravens his whole career, I remember. So I'm excited to not see him in Cincinnati anymore.
Yeah.
Good for the Bengals for getting him for a year. He's a pretty decent, underrated guy, I've always thought.
I mean the Titans?
Yeah, sorry, the Titans.
And then the DJ Chark
signed a 2-year extension.
I think the DJ Chark deal could be pretty damn good.
Yeah, I mean the Chargers need receivers.
Anyone that goes to the Chargers gets hurt almost instantaneously. I mean, didn't they stab their own quarterback in the fucking lung and knock him out?
They did. They certainly
they'll screw it up. Inevitably, it'll get screwed up. They're the Cleveland Browns.
They just signed J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, who love getting hurt too.
I don't know. I got more faith in Jim Harbaugh than that. I think if anything, there's any shit going on around him, I feel like he's gonna nix that and he's gonna get them out of there right away.
I got a question for you guys. Who do you want to see on Hard Knocks?
I'll be honest with you. I don't watch Hard Knocks, so I don't really care.
Okay. I would actually like to see the Chargers or the Steelers.
Yeah, the Steelers will never do it. But the Chargers or, like you said, the Falcons could be good.
Oh my God, the Falcons would be. Actually, I might watch that if it was the Falcons.
Yeah. I just want the quarterback room. I just want to see the quarterback room. That'd be great.
Yeah. I don't even want. Yeah, just call it QB Falcons. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think they do.
Does Michael Penix go get dinner at Kirk Cousins' house? I don't think so.
I think they do have like a say in what gets put out there. So I'm sure if anything bad gets caught on film, they're going to tell them to keep that off.
Yeah. They have creative control. Like the teams have control. Like they can, edit. And also, I mean, sometimes these teams like the Steelers, I don't think they can get forced by the league to do it because of like the regs they have around this with HBO.
They can. That's what happened to the Jets last year.
Yeah.
But usually it's a shitty team.
Good.
Kelsey signed a 2-year extension worth $34 million. I don't know if this means he's going to play 2 more years, but it certainly means that he's going to get $17 million check come May 1st or come May 15th or whenever it kicks in. So good for him. Obviously, he deserves it. He's probably the greatest tight end of all time. If not, he's in the top couple. So, yeah, good for him. I don't think this is super, super relevant other than the fact that the Chiefs salary cap might have taken a little bit of a hit. In golf this week, we had the Byron Nelson. The guy who won's name is Taylor Pendrith. He's Canadian. We love Canadians on this podcast, as Brian leaves. It was his first win on tour. He had 3 wins on PGA Tour Canada prior to this, but he's made 5 out of his 11 cuts this year. So he was not showing great form going into this tournament. This was just one of those things where he just came out of nowhere and had a great week.
Are you closet Canadian? Are you closet Canadian?
I'm not Canadian. I'm not. I respect it though. I love maple
syrup. Maybe he's moving it.
Maybe I am. Who knows? I've never been. I think the story of the week, though, for that tournament was a 16-year-old made the cut. I think that's really cool. His mom was a former LPGA Tour golfer. He was the youngest in 11 years to make the cut on tour. And he actually finished, I think, like -7 for the tournament, too. So he was killing it. Wow. How cool is that? 16 years old.
That's insane.
I just got his learner's permit.
That's insane. I think Jordan Spieth just taking a shit. Was probably the biggest story of that thing. I think he went in as like one of the favorites to win this.
Oh yeah, he was the favorite. Yeah, he missed
I assume so. Yeah.
Yeah, he
missed the cut. Actually, I didn't know that. I didn't know he missed the cut.
He missed the cut.
Jesus Christ.
3 or 4 under on the first day, and then the second day he just completely imploded. He's either the best golfer or the worst golfer on the planet, and I have no idea which. It depends on the week. It really does. It's crazy.
And is that a guy you want on your Ryder Cup team when that comes around? Because he's either going to take a shit the entire weekend, or he's going to win you the Ryder Cup.
I think because of his experience and the fact that the camaraderie he has with the team, I think he needs to be there. But I don't necessarily know that he needs to be starting in every match. You know what I mean? Like, there, every time they play, there's always like 2 or 3 or 3 or 4 guys on the team that don't play. You can leave him out of a couple of them,
Yeah, maybe like alternate shot when you can really use his putting or something. But in a short game, that's the
What's
only.
His world rank right now?
Still decent.
I would bet it's still high, just because you're going to look it up.
Yeah, I got it.
All right. Stat guy, Brian.
Keep going. Yeah.
But this week we have the Wells Fargo Championship, which is a signature event, elevated event, which means the field is going to be really good because that's where all the money is on these elevated events on tour. That's the system they have now. Wyndham Clark won this tournament last year, Quail Hollow, which is in Charlotte, North Carolina. Scheffler announced that he is not going to be playing because he and his wife Meredith are expecting the birth of their child this weekend, which seems to have
Is
been
that
the case.
fucking
for the
baby
last
ever
month
coming?
or two?
No.
Yeah, I don't know if she's going to be induced or what's going on, but they think that it's happening this week, and I hope it does because the PGA Championship's next week, and I don't want to watch a major without Scotty Scheffler, who's the best golfer in the world.
He needs to be there. Do you guys want to guess Jordan Spieth's world ranking?
I would guess 17.
I guess in the 20s.
21.
Damn. Grievous Vance.
Yeah.
21.
That's a problem. What is if you still have it up, can you look up Justin Thomas?
Yeah, I got you here. Give me a sec. You keep going. 29. 29.
29. Yeah. So
and
as
I
bad
have
as you
no
guys
idea.
think, as bad as the golf community thinks he's still a top 30 golfer in the world. So.
Well, yeah, he's just been bad for his standards.
For his standards, yeah.
Dusty, can you hook us up with this trivia answer that you had earlier? The trivia question
you
that you had earlier?
You guys have no idea?
I got nothing.
He's on the Yankees.
Soto?
Not Soto.
Well, no, this is his first year in the
DJ
Rizzo?
He used to be on the Rockies. DJ LeMahieu. DJ LeMahieu is the correct answer. DJ LeMahieu won the batting title with the Rockies in the mid-2010s, and he won the batting title, I think, his first season in New York. He almost won the MVP that year.
Yeah.
Completely. Yeah, I mean, I think
good
he was
player.
like the Oriole killer that year.
Yeah.
He batted like
that was also Gleyber Torres. I think Gleyber Torres had like 16 home runs the 1 year, and I think 9 of them were
Oh,
against
my
the Orioles.
God. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think him and I think LeMahieu batted like 500 against us or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, LeMahieu is a professional hitter. Now I know obviously he's a professional baseball player, but he does everything right. I remember watching him at LSU when he played college ball, and he crushed.
Yeah. He's been a great player for a long time. He's been hurt the last couple of years. He's getting older. But yeah.
I actually completely
Front
forgot he was
range,
on the Yankees.
Yeah. Still there. He's I don't know if he's playing much this year. He might be hurt. He's not playing second anymore. He's playing first and third and DH in a little bit. But yeah. We'll get back to golf. Last 3 winners of the tournament this weekend at Quail Hollow are Wyndham Clark, Max Homa, and Rory McIlroy. Rory McIlroy is the prohibitive favorite to win this year's tournament. He's won here twice. His odds are plus 650. Second best odds, the guy who came in second last year, Xander Schauffele, is 9-1. Ludwig Aberg, who has been making a name for himself all year, actually withdrew from this tournament. He was 12-1 to win at the third best odds. But he's got a sore knee, and he's making sure he's 100% for the PGA Championship next week. So he's sitting out this week. So Wyndham Clark, who's last year's winner, who's been playing great golf this year, is 16-1. I think those are good odds. I don't know why he's not closer to 10-1 like Xander is. And then Cantlay is 18-1, and he was 25-1 when I looked on Sunday, and now he's 18-1. So I'm imagining some sort of big money came in on Cantlay. Somebody knows something. So maybe keep an eye out for him.
Well, I'm actually surprised Homa is.
That's a lot. Yeah, Homo 22-1, and he's won here twice in the last 4 years. He's played here 3 times in the last 4 years. He's won twice, and he came in 8th the other time. So he's he obviously loves this course, and he plays really well here. So
why do I say I got feeling Victor Hovland? For some reason, Hovland just jumps out to me. No rhyme or reason.
He's having a rough year.
Hovland for me is one of the guys that I don't know why he's 25-1 because he's having a terrible year. Imagine Justin Thomas's year last year. That's what's happening to Victor Hovland right now. He's having a terrible year. And if he comes out of nowhere and wins, obviously he's one of the most talented golfers in the world, so it makes sense. But it would really be a surprise based on how his season has started. I like Fleetwood down the board. He's got 2 starts here, both in the top 15, and he's been playing pretty good. He came in 3rd in the Masters, and he came in the top 20, I think, last week. And then down the board, a couple guys: Harris English, Ricky Fowler, Denny McCarthy, Brendan Todd. Brendan Todd's 150 to 1. He came in 8th in this tournament last year, and he came in the top 20 in like 3 of his last 4 tournaments. So he's 150 to 1 is ridiculous. He should be a top 20 bet. If you're making a top 20 bet on this tournament, take him.
That could be one of those bets where you actually just to finish top 10. And I know it's not going to be 150 to 1, but it might be like 40 to 1 or something.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, everyone's going to be gearing up for the PGA Championship. Obviously, that's the biggest prize in golf that's looming next week in Louisville, Kentucky. Brooks Koepka actually won this weekend in Singapore. The Live Tour played their tournament in Singapore. Brooks Koepka won, so he's in good form going into the PGA Championship, a tournament that he's won 3 times in the past. And he won last year. He's the defending champion. He's won this tournament in back-to-back years before. I think he did it like 5 or 6 years ago. So look out for him. He was embarrassed because he played pretty bad by his standards in the Masters. So he's one of those guys that's going to turn it up every time there's a title on the line.
Before we move on from golf, I saw the British. I still call it the British Open, but the Open Championship. They have that hole that's 623 yards. They extended hole number 6 at Royal Troon to 623 yards. Longest hole in the history of golf. Holy shit.
That sounds like fun. I would be hitting driver or 3-wood, and then hopefully putt. I don't know how these dudes how these dudes consistently make good scores on holes like that. It's insane. But I know for sure that somebody's going to hit like a 400-yard drive on that hole and have like an iron into the green, and everyone's going to be like, I can't believe he has an iron into the green on a 650-yard hole or whatever.
Yeah, you must get a lot of wind at your back on that hole or something.
I mean, it's a link style course, the British Open. So
everything rolls on those courses too.
Yeah, the ground is as hard as a rock because it's cold there all the time. And that's just the way they maintain the course. So everything's going to be incredibly hard. So when you hit a drive that carries 300 yards, it probably is going to roll out another 30 or 40, whereas on tour it might roll out like 10 or 15 yards. Obviously that tournament is amazing, but that's going to be later in the season.
That's the last one.
Yeah, I have a question too. I saw Tiger got he got an exemption to play next weekend at the PGA Championship.
Why does he got the exemption for?
Well, I guess regardless, why does he need that if he's won the tournament? I thought you get a lifetime, like you can choose to play it or not if you win it. Or is it only for 12 years?
The Masters, you get a lifetime exemption. The other tournaments, you don't get a lifetime exemption into.
You get a 10-year window.
You get a 10-year window, I believe. But obviously, Tiger is going to get any exemption in any tournament he wants to play in because the fact that him being there doubles probably the revenue for the week immediately. So, he's just going to get in any exemption he can into. I saw a lot of people being like, why does he need this? Why did he need it? It's just because the rules are set up that he does need it. But he's going to be able to get in any tournament he wants to. Yeah,
I was just for some reason I wasn't thinking and thought that like no matter what, if you won these tournaments, you get a lifetime. But I forgot it's each one has different set of rules. So
yeah, they all have individual governing bodies.
I think there are 2 that I think if you win the Open Championship, you get a lifetime exemption as well. I think
it might be, yeah. It might be that too, and I'm not sure 100% on that. Other news this week: Kentucky Derby. Mystic Dan 18 to 1 wins the race. They're not sure that the horse is even going to race in the Preakness. Did you guys watch the Derby? Did you have any money on it? Did you have any fun watching it? You got any stories?
I was getting my teeth kicked in at work, so I didn't watch a single. I didn't even see a horse.
I watched a little bit. It was fine. I mean, I'd have more fun if I was there. And it sucks that he's not going to race next week, but he probably just knows he's going to get his ass kicked once Bob Baffert's horses are allowed to race back in Baltimore and in New York. So
Yeah.
since old Bobby Boy can't race in Kentucky right now.
What sport fell off more? What sport fell off more, horse racing or boxing?
I'd say boxing, honestly.
Probably boxing.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't watch any boxing. I don't know any of the good fighters either. I only know that the one fighter got his shit called back or whatever recently. I think that was boxing. Maybe it was UFC. I don't even know.
Oh, the guy who got disqualified. I don't even know if that was. I don't know if that was boxing or UFC either.
Because he failed the drug test.
Yeah, I think boxing is kind of falling off a cliff. I don't know. There's like 85 titles on each guy, and I just don't understand it.
Horse racing is just fun because I mean it's like the limited quantity, right? Like there's 3 a year that everybody watches that are nationally televised, and then we forget about it until the Kentucky Derby runs around the next year.
Yeah, and it's fun because everyone gambles on it and makes pools on it and shit, so it gets people engaged.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a shit about boxing anymore. It's just sad because I'm sure it was part of it. I know it was a huge part of the culture for a long time, but it's just not that way anymore.
Well, those bastards did it to themselves from fixing their own fights and shit.
Yep. And also the UFC came along and kind of has drawn way more interest in them.
I mean, who's the most famous boxer right now? And I'm going to tell you right now,
Paul.
it's still Mike Tyson. It's
Tyson Fury. Yeah.
It's Tyson Fury.
Wilder and Fury. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Tyson Fury, the Paul brother, I think it's Logan Paul is the one, and then Tyson. I mean, and Tyson's fighting Paul, I think, in the next couple months or whatever, and he's half his age.
I'm good on fighting Mike Tyson, even when he's 90. I'm out. I don't want to do that at all. David Rubenstein, new Orioles owner, is going to be Mr. Splash on Friday night.
Yes.
The ad for this on Twitter was unbelievable. I think we were talking about it in our group chat yesterday. How awesome is this guy?
Just what this ownership group has done in the small time they have owned this team is amazing. I mean, seeing Cal with his girlfriend, the judge, but behind the dish, just everything they've done has been a home run. And I'm just so happy that the Orioles are in this state.
Dude, I mean, what a 180 turn. Like, has anybody captivated? Like, has anybody won over City faster than David Rubenstein? Like Rubenstein. I don't know how he actually pronounces it, but it's like it's nuts. I mean, the guy he's pulling all the right levers. That's for sure.
I don't know if it's an indictment on how bad the previous regime was and how
it could be.
I mean, it's both, I think.
I mean, I don't know any I can't think of any other owners in anything that's this well liked at the moment. I mean, that I can think. I mean,
he's gonna wear a fucking flamingo and spray people with water during a baseball game. I don't know.
So awesome.
He's a multi-billionaire. He doesn't have to do shit. I love it, man. Like, I mean,
he's just like acting like a kid, and everyone's just loving watching him do it.
Yeah.
Shout out,
like, to in general, like the one YouTube commercial or Twitter commercial where he's hitting the Orioles magic button. Like, the guy is just everything he does. Like, he just seems like he's having so much fun with it, and he looks like he's like reliving his childhood. And I think everybody appreciates that.
Yeah.
I couldn't be happier. Yeah, I think I've said this before on one of the podcasts. We had a parking lot that had one of the best run organizations in the Ravens that also shared the parking lot with one of the worst run organizations in baseball. And now we have two of the best run organizations in that same parking lot. And it's so good. It's great for the city. It's great for business around the city. And I'm just excited to see what the future brings.
Yeah, shout out to my buddy Nick. He basically said If I was 14 years old and I had $1 billion, this is how I would run the Orioles too. And I was like, that's 100% true.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, I think he's been great. He's going to do great things for the city, and I couldn't be happier or more excited to be an Oriole fan at the moment. But yeah, you guys have anything else from the week you want to talk about? Any other stories or stuff you want to discuss?
No, I played some golf, had a good time. Tired, got a lot of sleep today. That's all. You guys texted me at 12 o'clock. I woke up at 12:30 in the afternoon. I slept hard for 12 hours.
Got a lot of sleep today. I like that.
All right, I earned my sleep. I earned it. I definitely did.
Yeah.
Dustin and I might be doing some golf cart recordings here in Hilton Head while we're away on vacation. Also, a little teaser for next week that I haven't even mentioned to you guys yet. But if you listen this long, we have a more than likely, I would say, a 80% chance. How about that we have a Ripken coming on the show next week.
I was actually with him yesterday at the golf outing.
Were you? Did you bring it up?
I did not bring it up. I didn't want to bring it up because I didn't know if you had talked to him yet. So I didn't say a word. But also he was and I'm not I'm not going to say that, but I didn't bring it up. But I definitely saw him yesterday and did chat with him for a few minutes, but not about podcast stuff. Just kind of BSing about other things.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
So
we'll
I think that's going to be
next week.
Billy. Yeah, we'll have Billy on the podcast. So it's for those wondering, I believe it's going to be Mondays when we were talking about. So I believe it's going to be Monday. We'll definitely put something up to give you guys a heads up when it's actually going to be, because we'll obviously be going live with him. We'll be going live with him.
I will be doing that podcast from Hilton Head, and we'll be doing it together. So we'll be in the room together for that. And
cool.
Brian, hopefully, will get some sleep that day too.
I will be. There's no golf outing next week, so I'm good. Oh man.
Cool.
All right, fellas. Well,
I'm gonna go. All right. See you, boys.
Have a great week, and I will see you guys next week.
Thank you guys for adjusting my schedule for the last couple of days. The Kentucky Derby block party is. Oh, by the way, I want to say something real quick. I need the freedom of time that some of these people that live in this neighborhood have. We got a noise violation called on us at 11:48 a.m. because we started a sound check right before noon. So the cops had to come.
Nice.
That was the beginning of my day. Like, you kidding me? It's 12 minutes. Is your that much? I don't know. That's me venting. I'm sorry. I just needed to get that off my chest. I needed someone to.
Yeah.
Hopefully they watch this show.
I'm gonna go bang on their door and just put my
if you're the
laptop
kind of
on.
person who's calling a noise ordinance call in 12 minutes before the noise ordinance is allowed, you're an idiot. Just fuck off. Like,
you're probably the guy. You're probably the guy that I've been fucking smoking on Twitter right now about Orioles baseball. If you guys don't know this, like give my profile a look-see. And there's a couple, I'm not going to mention their Twitter handles or anything like that, but if you make the effort to go over there, you can see that I am actively trying to get this man shunned from Twitter. He is the worst Orioles fan I've ever fucking met. I've never met him, obviously. I've ever seen type anything. Like the definition of a keyboard warrior. So
you don't get fired up that often. So when you get fired up, I'm nervous.
This one thing gets Brooks real fired up, and I have access to the Twitter account. I've considered blocking this fellow on our Gary Williams Stole My Lawn Furniture official.
Oh no, I've been doing it for my personal. I've been doing it for my personal one. So
I know. I just want him to get off the feed as much as possible for you.
Oh no, I just want to. It'd be nice to just make him cry.
Hey, but thank you guys for putting up my schedule. This was a long weekend, and I appreciate it. And, next week will be good, and I hope you guys have safe travels down Hilton Head, by the way.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, sounds good. Tune in next week. Like we said, big guest coming on. So looking forward to picking his brain.
Good man.
All right.
See you, boys.
Bye, boys.
See you guys next week.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.